Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform. Or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Start with Chris, add a dash of sport, squeeze in some music, then shake, don't stir. And you've got the ultimate blend, LTID, with your host, Chris.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good night, goodbye, hello. Welcome along. I don't know what is worse at the moment. Leicester City facing relegation or Croatia getting through to the final of Eurovision. Have you heard that song? Go and watch it. That's all I'll say. And if you love music, you will hate it. Hello, welcome along. This is, we've not done it for a while, so it's nice to have it back. This is Memory Lane. Hope you are all well. We are LTID TV, coming live from Leicester Till I Die on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. And thank you for joining us. Please feel free to join in the comments if you're that old and you can remember when we went down to League One. And if you're listening on the podcast, hopefully this is a podcast I can actually put out because there won't be too much swearing in. But Dave's back, so look, you never know. But you can find us on your podcast, Leicester Till I Die. And if you're extremely rich and got what's the word I'm looking for? A smart speaker, 2 words, then you're very rich, and B, just ask it to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die, and you will be able to pick up our dulcet tones. C96 is in. I'm glad it's that way round, mate. Otherwise, I'd have found reading you out a bit of a mouthful. Yes, I start early. And then there's only one way to go, really, isn't there? And that is down.
Maybe we could live without the wisecracks.
Yes, I think it might be a good idea. So, look, let's have a look at what we're looking at. For those of you that think, oh, this is bad times at Leicester, they have been worse. As C96 said there, we remember it through... It's like that. It's watching it like that. I didn't sleep for a week going down to League One. We hadn't before. It's Gurinder and Brian coming on. I'll tell you what. Look, seeing as you've brought it up early, Terry, a bit like your lunch. Let's have a look at this. Okay, you can find this on the Leicester Till I Die YouTube site, LTID TV. We are Leicester. We are elite. Brian doesn't really get a look in, but I've cut it down from 2 hours to about 15 minutes. So you should be reasonably happy with me. All I will say is...
Elite.
We are elite. Whether that will be allowed to stay in or I might have to cut that out, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get away with it. Gurinder, we love you, and do go and check that out. Basically, for about 10 minutes, me and Brad just could not present the show. We were so... I had to get a tissue, and not for the obvious reasons either, before you say anything. But look, also this. Still annoyed about the Fulham result. I was. Let me just show you a quick clip of this. It's pissing down here, which is quite apt, really, because I'm totally and utterly fucking pissed off. What was that shower that I have just seen rain on our parade? How many rain jokes can I get in? What a load of absolute gobshite. Look, want to see more of that? Then join us on, go over again to LTID TV and check it out. All these shows are under The Pick, which is like the latest shows that are up. So you can listen to We Are Leicester, We Are Lorate, Gurinder's rant. I'm sure she was pissed. And also my Not Fit to Wear the Shirt. Life is a pitch show. But this week, tonight, we are not going to be worrying about that. We've got more serious things to do. And another gentleman that does remember those times, when he'll try and say he's too young, but we know he's not really. And that is, we'll bring him in here, Dave. How the devil are you? Welcome back from Aussie.
Thank you very much. What are you doing to me? Bringing back all these terrible memories.
I know. I was checking. The last one we did was actually the playoffs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
well,
jeez.
you're always such a happy chap, and you project that persona of being happy across. Thinking you're the man for me.
The more I think about it, the more I get depressed. I've forgotten about this year.
Well, there's a lot of similarities, and we will come on to that. But 2000, I mean, I thought it was longer ago than that, but it literally, I mean, it's what, 13, 20, 13, 17,
15.
18 years ago? 15, is it?
Yeah.
15 years
Yeah.
ago. Maths wasn't my strong point. I just thought it was a hell of a lot, let's say, longer ago than that, if that makes sense.
It does.
But let's have a look. What was happening in 2007, 2008? Well, Rihanna and Jay-Z sang about their umbrella. And as you can see, it's twice there because it was an umbrella. Leon Jackson won the X Factor. Whatever happened to him, eh?
Whatever happened to that?
Manchester United won their 10th Premier League.
Of course they did.
Portsmouth beat Cardiff 1-0 in the FA Cup.
Harry.
Harry, big Harry. Madeline McCann disappeared from On a Family's Holiday. I know. Gordon Brown becomes Britain's new Prime Minister. The Northern Rock crashes, and we have the 2008 financial crisis. Russia goes to war with Georgia. Some things don't change. But do you know what the 2007 best-selling toy was?
No.
You would think maybe Rubik's Cube?
I thought it was before then.
Right, possibly, the old Thunderbirds, Tracy Island.
That'd be 30 years before that, mate.
It really was.
My children had grown up by then, so I can't really remember buying any those sort of toys. Oh, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Oh, fuck's sake. Fuck you now.
I could not believe it. I do not believe it.
Oh, my life.
2007's best-selling toy
Piggle.
was in the Night Garden's Eagle Piggle.
Oh, my life.
That I have got off the Daily Mirror website, so I haven't made it up at all. It's true. Welcome back, Dave. Welcome back.
He's got good staying power, hasn't he? 15 years later, still going strong.
Oh God!
Boy.
So you reckon that you got it for your grandchildren? No, you bought it yourself 15 years ago, and it's your comfort blanket, isn't it?
It certainly is. It is today and yesterday and Monday.
Oh, that's going to get clipped, I'll tell you. That's it. When I saw that, I thought that's in. That is in the show.
God, it gets worse, doesn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it does. It does. C96 says, but in the great scheme of things, this could be the worst as we're in financial turmoil then. This time we have a team full of internationals and a talented squad, most of which might leave. And all that hard work over the past 10 years will be down the drain. Well, this is Leicester, isn't it?
I think that's
Leicester.
I was watching the first half of the Milan semi-final.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Inter. And
nearly gone 3-0 up then.
Is it 3 now? Is it? Yeah.
No, it's still 2, but they nearly went. Oh no, that was AC Milan nearly got one back. Sorry,
they should have had a penalty. Inter, I think. But I think back to some of the teams. I mean, we were in the second division with Chelsea. We came up. They didn't. We won at Fulham to get promoted when Fulham were managed by McDonald and were on the way up.
Yeah.
Chelsea sustained it. We didn't. We had no idea how to sustain a successful club. We still haven't. And I think that's our biggest problem. And we're going to have to accept it, that we're going to go back to up and down.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I take on board exactly what you were saying there. And that graphic image I've put up there, I'm sure you can name the gentleman in the middle.
Yeah, he saved us.
I mean, I've got his
allegedly
shirt there. The white shirt up there behind me is actually Milan Mandric's signature.
Okay.
He saved the club. Though And then, of course, he did actually manage to sell us to King Power. So,
Yeah.
you know, I respect and I've got a lot of love and time for the guy because we wouldn't have had a club without him.
But he wanted to run it. He wanted to run the club, and you know, he's chairman, not manager. That was the problem.
Yes, as we will see when we in a bit. It's surprising when you look back. I'm sure you can name those three guys on the right of him.
Yeah, Bodgers, the Ginger Whinger. Who's the guy on the left? Can't see that very well. Top left, is that I don't know who that is. Who's that?
That's Ian Holloway.
He looks a bit fatter than usual. Yeah, okay, well, none of my friends really.
That's three managers in one season, and we laughed at bloody Watford.
Well, actually, I think we had about 5 or 6, if we're honest.
Well, we had a couple of interim
Caretaker jobs.
Yes, yeah. On the left, can you name any of those players? And if you can, I'll come down there and give you a blowjob myself. So I don't think you can.
Cheers, mate. Let's look forward to.
Is it your birthday?
No, you just missed that. Damn. Got to wait another year for that.
You lucky bugger.
Actually, the one on the left looks like Alan Woolett. I know it's not, but it looks like him. Goalkeeper about that time we had Henderson to start with, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then, oh Jesus.
No, it wasn't him.
No, American guy, was it? Australian or?
No, Scottish. Rob Douglas.
Oh, is that him? I'd forgotten about him.
And I really, really wish you'd been able to name the two players because I can't. All I will say is they were the two Hungarians that we signed.
Oh, yeah. Slavira Bobtov, yeah.
Probably not enough, yes. As we all know, that well-known Hungarian snooker player in Off the Red.
In Off the Red. I think they were on loan anyway, weren't they?
We let one go during the season, and then, oh my God, they've just missed a sitter. We did let them go during the season. But look, it wasn't just about this season, and I've got to be honest with you, and I don't think this, what we're going through at the moment, is just about this season either. Because the build up to 2007-8, it was almost like it was waiting to happen. And I felt with this year, I did a show the other day, and I said, is this problem 12 months in the making? And I think it almost is. And yeah, I will criticise Top because it's happened on his watch, and I think he's got a lot to answer for with how he's handled it. Yes, he's got another big company to try and sort out that was absolutely flattened by the pandemic. I accept that. But you've also got to think he's got people in charge who should be doing this job for him, and he should be on top of them, and I don't think he was. Although who particularly wants to be on top of Susan Whelan, is down to the individual. But we tried to live the dream. We look back and that one season we didn't sell a huge, because we always made one huge sale, didn't we? And we didn't. And we tried to stay and sustain that top 5. And I just think we've struggled. We've struggled with that.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons. I mean, that season we had, our back 7 out injured for a lot of the time. And to actually come through that was incredible. That's what makes me even more angry this year. The fact that season, when we had every excuse to go down because we were missing 10 players at a time, we didn't. We fought and we stayed up. Everyone battled. This year, I've not seen any of that at all. I mean, you might not remember. I don't even know whether I was coming on in those days, but the first game of the season, Brentford at home, I saw the writing on the wall then. We surrendered a 2-goal lead because it was too hot.
Yeah.
Their manager made 4 or 5 substitutions, which turned the game, and we didn't make any, I don't think, until about the 80th minute or something like that.
And then we only made 2. Oh, yeah. It was coming, and it had carried on from the previous season. But
you're right about 2007-8. That was the same. I think for 3 or 4 years before we got relegated, we'd finished 16th, 17th, something like that.
There we go. We were in the Premiership in 2003-4.
Yeah.
and we got relegated. Adams left of his own free will, it has to be said. Oh God, he came out. Dave Bassett and
Howard
what was it called? Wilkinson. I can't remember his first name.
Howard.
Howard Wilkinson. I wonder if you call him Harry then. I wasn't right.
Actually, I've met him. He's a good guy. He's all right.
Yeah, I've never met him, so but
Mm.
I can't judge. But as a manager, not my first choice. I'm going to be honest with you. So we went down from 18th in the season when we got relegated. The next season we finished 15th. We had Bassett and Wilkinson starting in the season off, and Craig Levine came in from Hearts, and we finished 15th. The next season we finished 18th, and no, we didn't get relegated because this was the second tier, the championship, so there was more than 20 teams in there. Levine was sacked, and Rob Kelly, his assistant, or one of his assistants, was promoted. Kept us up, not unlike a Mr. Shakespeare. We finished 18th, and in the season after we finished 19th. Rob Kelly again still in charge, and he went on to be, I think, most recently. He was working at Preston as a coach. And then it isn't Frank Worthington that took over, but Nigel Worthington. And I think the biggest mistake that Mandrich ever made was not keeping Nigel Worthington on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he kept us up quite well and a decent manager. And for some reason, he wasn't even considered.
No.
I don't know why.
And if you look there, starting the championship 2007, we had the aforementioned Martin Allen, who didn't last very long, and I'm sure we'll cover that. He was taken over, believe it or not, by John Rudkin. Is it Craig Beaghole and obviously Mike Stowell, who are still all at the club. All at the club. Then we went and got Megson, who I thought people didn't like him because he was ex-Forest, but I thought in the short time he was with us, he actually tightened us up at the back.
He was really excited by the job as well, he said at the time.
He
fucked up to Bolton, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But we're in the Premier League, and you've got to say Mandrich maybe slipped up there in not making him sign the contract, but hey-ho, there we go. Mm-hmm. He was then replaced on a temporary basis by Burrows and our one and only Jerry Taggart. And they were then replaced by Ian Holloway, who, in fairness, now I'm going to say Ian Holloway. This was the season one of my sons was mascot at Burnley. And I went to pick him up in the team, and we'd drawn 1-1 with Burnley, and they'd scored both goals. And he sort of said something to me as I picked my son up. He said, like, "Oh, that was a better second half, wasn't it?" And under my breath, I said, "Well, it couldn't have been much worse than the first half." I mean, as an outsider looking in, I loved the guy. I mean, you know, some of the comments he used to come out with.
Yeah.
And he was a good manager. It proved because the next year he went to Blackpool and got them promoted. And that's no easy job, is it?
No.
Get Blackpool into the Premier League. So he was a good manager. But I just think at that time, I think if Pep Guardiola had come in, we would have still got relegated. We were in such a mess, weren't we?
Well, surprisingly, and I hate to compare this, but that was the last year me and Vicky had season tickets, and we got them back. We got them back this year, and we're going down again. Eh?
Everybody, if you are watching, I'm going to clip this as well there because you've just admitted it.
I'll take the blame.
The reason we are going down is because Dave's got season tickets.
It's taken me that long to get them back again. I tell you, since when we got famous, everybody wanted to go.
Wow!
Of course, get tickets.
Of course, similar to my stories, which was I had a season ticket up until the Great Escape year.
Yeah.
And couldn't be bothered to travel 8 hours there and back for 7.5 hours there and back to watch us lose. Got rid of it, and of course we went on. But I do take the credit for that. That we would not have won had I kept my season ticket.
Fair point. But it was. But I tell you, looking at that chart, when Jerry Taggart took over for a game or 2 games, I went to Stamford Bridge to the League Cup game, and I think pretty sure we lost 4-3.
Yes,
and don't forget, Chelsea that year, I think we got in the Champions League final, and we were brilliant. and the crowd were brilliant. You know, it was just almost, you thought, this is it. This is going to happen. Jerry's in charge. And then who the hell was it? A terrible injury. Levi Porter. Remember that young lad who'd been getting mad at the match reports and stuff for us?
He was the next best thing, big thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he got. We thought it was cruciate or something like that. I don't know whether it was, but he never really played again at a decent level, and that was a terrible loss for him. But as well as us, but mainly for him because he was doing brilliant for us.
Yeah, it was Macaulay, Campbell, and Court that scored that day.
Court, eh?
Yes. Well, you think that? You wait till you see the team. You wait for the squad, I should say. You wait till you see those. I have to be honest now, because I am wearing that season shirt. And I tell you what, the big surprise of the evening is that it actually fits me still. I'm quite pleased about that. Excuse me.
It's a bit snug.
It is snug.
Yeah.
Not as snug as the grey one I was wearing yesterday. Which I bought a green and a grey one because they're in the sale at the club, and the green one fits beautifully, and the grey one, same size, absolutely. I should have put a bra on. Let me put it that way.
Actually, look, to be fair, they say if you've got it, flaunt it. So
this is true. This is true. If you've got man boobs, don't be afraid of them.
Get them out there.
Exactly. Get your man boobs out for the girls. Maybe not. T96 says, I was working in London, great game, gave Chelsea a scare.
We really did, yeah.
So that season, like I said, this is the home shirt. My dream is to get an away shirt from this season because it is probably my second all-time favourite away shirt by this club. And they are available, but just not in my, I don't understand, 1X, 2X. I call it fat bastard size. So they haven't got it in. But these were the kits. And we had just finished our deal with JJB. That came to an end in May 97. And Topps Tiles, as you can see there.
Yeah.
Topps Tiles became our sponsor, and the kit was made by Jacko.
That's it.
I have no idea who they are, but and it would be an all blue kit. The last time Leicester City wore an all blue kit was during the promotion season of 2002-03. But I love that away shirt. I
didn't have a Topps Tiles shirt. I had the old Alliance and Leicester one I used to wear the season before.
Oh yes.
And I think it was that one. I was saying to you, texting that the letters started peeling off as we got done at Stoke. Well, didn't get done, but
I did wonder, to be honest with you. I did like to say that I didn't know what the hell you were talking about, but you did correct yourself before.
Not many people do.
Very, very true. No, it's not. Anyway, this was how the table finished. I think what's the most annoying about that is that Coventry stayed up.
Yeah.
Again. And can you actually, sorry, CJ, he says he still has the shirt. That one wasn't reversible because I've just got the reversible one, which I was wearing because we hadn't lost under Dave Smith with it. But Dave Smith, the new Dean Smith. But we now have, obviously.
Yes. But
do you realise, Dave, that worst case scenario is that we get relegated, Forest stay up, and Coventry win the playoffs? I mean, talk about a double whammy.
I can't even begin to think that. Really can't. All I know is, looking at that table, I think we only took 3 points. I think we beat Coventry at home, but we lost away, and we lost. Southampton did the double over us. I'm sure they did. And we only got something like 2 or 3 points from 12 out of the bottom 2.
Well, I mean, Colchester there at the bottom, they had a horrendous season.
Scunthorpe, yeah. Well, we might have beaten them once, I don't know, but we certainly, that was all dreadful.
I'm just giving LCFC another nightmare. You're welcome. That's what we're here for. I mean, it was tight. I mean, as you can see there, Leicester City 52, Coventry 53, Southampton 54. Our goal difference was, look at that, only -3, but
We had a good defence, I remember, but we couldn't score goals.
didn't score goals at the other end. No,
Does that say that up there? Yeah, was that 42?
42 scored.
Yeah, and only 45. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
good
I mean, we had the
defence.
lowest. I mean, Colchester United, who finished bottom with just 38 points, scored 62 goals. You know, but they conceded 86, which was why they were where they were. But I mean, it literally went. It was happening all season, like you say. It was such an awful season. You saw all the different managers that we had. It came down to that final day that we needed to beat Stoke, and Southampton needed to lose. And I think Southampton, whatever we wanted Southampton to do, they did. But we could only draw with Stoke, if I remember.
Yeah, dreadful. But it happened Sheffield Wednesday at home. That's when it went wrong, and also the fact he never played Matty Fryatt much for the latter half of the season. But it happened at Sheffield Wednesday. I think they went 1-up. We equalised. They went 2-1 up. We missed a penalty. Ian Hume missed. I remember him doing it at the Cop end. He just put it so far. I think it was so far over the bar. And then they went up the other end and scored 3-1, and it was horrendous. And we knew then, like now, we knew with those couple of games to go, whatever, or even Stoke, we were down, because that Sheffield Wednesday at home we should have beaten. They were below us at the time, I think, when we played them. I
can't remember, but that said, I think had we stayed up that season, I don't think things would have worked out the way they did.
No. At least we got Nigel Pearson out of it.
Well, that was the funny thing, because Nigel Pearson, whilst Ian Holloway took us down, Nigel Pearson kept Southampton up.
He did, yeah.
Was sacked by Southampton. We brought him in, and we had. Well, let's be honest with you. We had a great season in League One, and that's not always guaranteed, because you look at Leeds and you look at Forest and you look at Man City. They didn't. It wasn't easy for any of them to get out, and we did it at the first attempt as champions
with 100 points, maybe.
It was like. Why did Southampton sack this guy? You know what I mean? But had we stayed up, we would have probably kept Ian Holloway. And no disrespect to him, maybe he would have had a clear out. I don't know, but it was. I think, in a way, funnily enough, it was the best thing that could have happened.
In a bizarre way, yeah. There's another thing happened at Sheffield Wednesday game. Remember Patrick Kisnorbo, brilliant defender.
Yes, yeah.
I think he did a cruciate in that game, and that just added to our misery as it was going on. And I think Pearson got rid of him the following year because his contract was up, and they didn't renew it, which I don't think he ever played again at that level after his injury. No. So things were going wrong for us like that all the time.
Yeah. It was literally a horrendous season.
Plus the fact we had old strikers that shouldn't have been even playing. Similar to Everton. Yeah.
Well, let's have a look. Who left during the season? Talking of strikers, but talking of goalkeepers as well. Do you remember we did not have, after Jimmy Nielsen left, he went back to Denmark to Vija. We didn't have a number one. Our goalkeeper was number 42 in Rab Douglas.
Yeah.
Sorry, just silly things that sort of make me impressed.
About where he should have been.
Yeah, yes. Cole Court was released. Hassan Kaibi, that was one of the guys from earlier, wasn't it? He was released. Mark De Vries went back to Dundee, thank God.
Yeah.
Martin Fulop went back to Sunderland. Now, that was a shame, I think, because Martin Fulop was, and he obviously had that, was it really bad injury or illness, didn't he?
Yeah, he started the season for us, I think, because Henderson was it as well, played all the last season. I think Henderson played Who did we lose to in the first game? Somebody rubbish.
I can tell you. In the
Was
first
it
game,
1-0 at home?
we lost to. He says, "Let me just scroll up."
1-0. Sure, it was 1-0.
We lost 1-0 to Blackpool.
Blackpool, that's right. Yeah, and Henderson played in that, I think, and weren't great. And then, yeah, you're right. Philip came in, had a decent half season, I believe, and then
Yeah,
it all went
I
wrong
think,
for
I
him.
think, I think, because Sunderland, I don't know if this was before or after, did us with what was the guy called? Missed the playoff penalty. I think it was after this. When the Frenchman missed the penalty in the playoff.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That
yeah,
was
Fulham.
after this. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
when we were in the championship, wasn't it?
yeah. I just
Carl Corte.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, let's go back and have a look at these.
He must have been well past it.
Oh well, I think we were almost the retirement club, weren't we? Louis
Do you know-
Dobbs, we let
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Clive Clark,
yeah. Well, that was
Sunderland. We let Alan Mabry go. Darren Kenton,
blimey.
Eric Ardihambo, Marco Fiera, and John Collins. Now they were just the players that we let go. So the next slide, and can I just say that you can congratulate me now on managing to get all these names onto one slide. So you may need to get your binoculars
I'll
out.
have to get a bit closer.
We joke about, oh no, don't do that. We joke about Forest this season with a huge squad. Apparently, training this season, it was like watching Rorke's Drift and all the Zulus coming over the hill. This, ladies and gentlemen, 45 of them. This was our squad.
Wow.
And just to make it easier, I've put the goalkeepers in green. I've put the defenders in. The goalkeepers are in red. Sorry, the strikers are in green. Defenders in purple, and midfielders in orange. 45 bloody players we've got there. Can you believe it?
Didn't we have nick a few from Fulham as well? Strikers. Elvis Hammond, is he in there?
Well, let's go through them. We'll start with the goalkeepers. So we had let Nielsen go.
Yeah.
We then had, and it's very difficult. I didn't realise how close the orange and the red were. We had Ben Olnwick, who was number 21. I can't even remember him.
I remember him.
He was on loan from Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
We had the aforementioned, you quite rightly remembered, Paul Henderson. Yeah, he was Australian.
Right.
And then we had the absolutely overage and overweight Rob Douglas, who, if you ever want to know about Scottish and why people always joke about Scottish goalkeepers, go and watch Rob Douglas. He wasn't one of our best goalkeepers, was he?
No. We had a Jock Wallace Scottish invasion, but with poor players.
Yes, indeed. Now, defenders. James Chambers.
Yeah.
Patrick Cosnorbo, you mentioned him, the Australian. Bruno Ingotti.
Yeah.
Gareth
McCauley. Yeah, he was a good player, wasn't he?
He was indeed. C96, similar to this season, no number one. Yeah, but we have got a number one in the squad this season, and I know what you're saying, C96. I get it, but we do have one in the squad. We didn't have one in the squad then. Do you remember Jamie Clapham? I don't remember him.
Yeah. Did he play for something like Southampton or West Ham or Norwich? So I don't know. I remember him. Yeah, he probably played about 15 games for us.
Yeah, I'm just having a look here.
Sure, it was him. It was Matt Oakley as well, wasn't it?
Who did I just say? Jamie
Clapham.
Where's he gone?
Right.
He's there. He was English. He's currently the head coach of Loughborough Students, apparently, but I don't know where he went on to. Um, Johnny Hayes. Now, a couple of good ones for me here: Alan Sheehan and Richard Stearman.
Yeah.
I thought they were two good defenders.
Didn't Sheehan blot his copybook or something with us? Or was that Joe Mattock?
I think that was Joe Mattock.
Yeah.
You know,
Richard Stearman was a good. He was born in Wolverhampton. That's why he went back there.
was he?
But he was a decent defender. Yeah. Harry Worley. Do you remember him? We had him on loan. I think it was Chelsea's.
Chelsea, yes,
What
yes.
was he? Chelsea's youth team captain, and he came for experience. I think he played. I can't remember seeing him play.
He played a couple of times, but
Really?
yeah, nothing.
We seem to take these players on loan and don't do anything with them.
Well, that year, like I say, if you look at how many we've got in there, but Harry Worley, yeah, he was on loan from Chelsea. Then if we have a look on the other, I mean, so many players, it was ridiculous. I mean, you can only get 11 on the pitch, and we had 45. Joe Mattock, the aforementioned naughty boy.
45.
Yeah, Roe Turner, don't remember him.
No.
And Lee Cox, I've no idea who he was. But then moving up to midfield, this is where it actually gets a little bit worse. Stephen Clements, who was captain.
Yeah, decent player.
Radostin Kieshev, the Bulgarian. Now, he actually, if I remember, wasn't too bad.
I must have known because I had bloody tickets, but
Yeah.
he didn't stand out.
The problem is, however good, if you did have a sort of find a diamond in the rough, there was so much rough like this season.
Yeah.
Diamonds don't shine through. Jamie Clapham.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he was a defender. Sorry. David Bell was on loan from Luton Down. And now another player that I thought was very underrated, James Wesolowski.
Yeah, definitely. He took over from Gudjonsson.
Possibly, yes.
About 2 seasons before, I think. And he didn't get regular games. He got a lot of injuries. If I remember rightly, he's always injured. So he struggled with that. But when he played, he was a good midfielder, powerful. Yeah. But say he didn't play enough for us. I'd be surprised if he played 30, 40 games.
I know, but I always thought when he played, I liked the guy. I thought he did all right. Maybe I'm just watching the wrong YouTube highlights.
No, he did all right. He did all right.
Sergio Hellings.
Don't know that one.
I'm sure some of these never even saw any pitch time, you know.
No.
Levi Porter. Now you mentioned him before, didn't you?
Yeah, that was so sad.
He was, but he was like the next big thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was like Julian Joachim before Julian Joachim.
I think he was only about 5'4" or 5'5", but he certainly snapped at the heels and did jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
great sadness. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Matt Oakley.
Yep.
Who again? He was all right. He was steady Eddie, I guess. Now here we go. Zelot Lakzo, our first Hungarian. You enjoy. I mean, I should have missed these out, shouldn't I? Shouldn't have even had these on the list. You think this is bad? You should see me trying to pronounce some of the Eurovision songs.
Imagine. Sounds like some sort of laxative, didn't it? Really.
You
take yours, Gestalts.
But the thing is, I think laxatives ran quicker than he did. And then, of course, there was his fellow Hungarian. We mentioned him before, Gabor Bori.
I'm sure he had Gabor on his shirt. I might remember something about that, but nothing spectacular. I mean, you know, again, both on loan, weren't they? You said,
yeah.
So
as indeed was Lee Hendry.
Oh God, yeah, good old Lee.
Yeah, and again, not a bad little player, Lee Hendry, and obviously
he didn't do bad. He didn't play many games for us, I don't think, but he didn't do too bad.
He didn't do bad. Kevin Esu. on loan from Manchester City. I mean, why do we have all these loan players in?
Well,
You
probably
know,
ain't got any money, but
no.
yeah, if you're gonna have them, you might as well play them, might you?
Yeah. And then, of course, the legend that is the one, the only, Andy King.
Yeah. Was that
Often, for me, underrated and berated, and he doesn't deserve it.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I always did. It was almost like a Trevor. Well, actually, you call him Frank Lampard now, wouldn't you? Ghosting in, and putting the ball in. No, brilliant play. Was that his first season, or I reckon that might have been his first season, because I don't think he was a regular. I don't know, but it was early days for him. But no, that's fantastic.
He never really became a number one choice, did he? But he was.
No, but he never let you down.
No, I mean, he started the Great Escape in 14-15, didn't he?
Yeah.
With his goal. But yes,
I'm waiting for you to come onto the forwards because they are spectacularly bad.
Well,
and old.
As you mentioned that, let's go back and let's start with probably the best of them. And lovely, lovely man. I've had him on the show. He's done a one-to-one. So if you want to listen to Ian Hume, he's a bit of a stallion. And if you want to know why, well, whether that comes from his wife or wherever, but he is a bit of a stallion. And you can find out, go on to LTID TV on the YouTube site and just click down to the, I think it's section 2 with the interviews, the conversation, and you will find out. But we all remember Hume.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off, to be honest, with that season. The two strikers, Hume and Matty Fryatt, worked so well together. And I know Matty Fryatt got his injuries as well, but they were never given a chance late on in the season.
No.
When we couldn't score goals.
Ian Hume, I think, under Holloway, was played on the wing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. But nobody in the middle that I could think of.
No.
That's Elliott had gone, isn't he? So we weren't playing him up front.
Yeah. We've mentioned Matty Fryatt there, who would go on to be a hero. I mean, a lot of the decent players here were eventually sold because we were in such sort of financial straits. But DJ Campbell.
Oh no, I know. We got him from Birmingham, I think, and we thought, yeah, this is good, but he probably already get 3 or 4 goals for us, maybe. And that
Was he
it.
the one that scored? Am I getting this mixed up? He scored a hat trick against Forest, and he lived off that for about 25 years.
It sounds about right, doesn't it, for Birmingham?
For Leicester. For Leicester. There was him or a very similar player. I don't know. Somebody will correct us in the chat.
Well, that Kevin Campbell we got from Arsenal.
Yes, yeah. Elvis Hammond.
Yeah, Fulham reject. In fact, we had 2 or 3 Fulham strikers in the team. They couldn't score at Fulham, so they thought he'd come to us.
Well, I'll tell you who we did get rid of. Mark de Vries. Now, he wasn't in this.
No.
I mean, he'd gone before this season, but my God, how... I mean, all right, he scored that goal against Tottenham in the FA Cup.
FA Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, that was a great game. 2-0 down, came back 1-3-2. How the hell he scored that, God knows. I think he mishit it.
These players have their one-offs, though. And if they ain't good enough, they'll have a one-off, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I think with certainly with De Vries, of course, he'd been at Hearts with Levine, and that's possibly why. But yes, Elvis Hammond, he left the building, but not soon enough.
Who else did we get from Fulham?
Barry Hales.
Barry Hales, we got him from Fulham, I think, via somebody else. And
Ricky Stapleton.
Horsfield, Jeff Horsfield, is he on your list?
Not in this season, but we did get Horsfield.
I tried to get him for years, and when we did, he was crap.
Yeah. I don't think Barry Hales was much good for us at the time.
No, I think he'd gone over the top by then.
I think this is the problem. I mean, I used to call us in those sort of seasons before and this until Pearson, because Pearson came in and just had a clear out. But I used to call us the Derby and Jones Football Club because, if there was somebody that had passed the best, we would go and sign them. Um,
Well, they wouldn't
I
sign
don't,
for us if they're any good. That was the
no, I
point.
don't remember Ricky Sapleton. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Uh,
do know the name,
now
but I don't think he played many.
Steve Howard. What a player! He was good. Steve Howard.
I think he came in late on in the season, maybe. I don't think he was there all season. Can't
No.
remember him. If he was, he wasn't getting a game. Maybe he
So
played instead of Matty Fryatt towards the end.
I remember the next season. Let's just have a look. Transfers in. Um, do. He's not on. Yeah, he came in from Derby County in January. That January window.
Right.
Yes. But I mean, of course, then the following season he scored that great goal against Leeds, and he always said he ran the length of the field to get on the end of the cross, and
He
how he ever
did.
got it. Yeah, he said, he said how I had the strength to jump and get me. I don't know.
My future Australian son-in-law was over for that Easter with his mate from Australia. They were doing the Devizes to Westminster canoe race. Incredible. But so I said, I'm going to take you to a proper football match. So we all went up to Leicester and sat behind the goal, just behind the goal in the cup end.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And when we came out, they must have got the Leicester spirit because they started to see off the Leeds United fans. So I said, no, don't do that.
So yeah, just be quiet
Yeah,
now. Be quiet.
yeah, just give it 10 till they've gone.
Yeah, then we'll celebrate. I do not remember though. I'm going to have to be honest with you. I do not remember Ashley Chambers.
Yes, yeah, he was. I think he was a local lad, if I remember rightly. Or did we get him from Manchester? No.
I'm not. Let's have a look.
I think he was sort of on the fringe quite a bit.
Oh, still playing for Colville Town.
Yeah, excellent. They should have got promoted from the Southern League Midland Division this year. Colville. I don't think they got knocked out in the playoff semi-final. I think.
Well, this season, the player of the season and the players' player of the season was Richard Stearman.
Yeah.
And the goal of the season was Ian Hume versus Watford in August.
That was Martin Allen's last game. Well, no, it wasn't. The Forest one was in the cup, but that was abandoned. But Martin Allen came out after that game and did the applause around the ground. So we thought, that's weird. It's only August.
Yes. But here's the season. Let's have a quick look at it month by month. Started in August, as you quite rightly said earlier. We started off with a loss at home to Blackpool. We then drew with Crystal Palace before beating Watford with obviously 4-1, as it says there, with Ian Hume getting the goal of the season. De Vries actually scored then. Oh my God. Alan Sheehan and Campbell.
DJ, wasn't he?
Sorry?
DJ Campbell. Was all
DJ
going
Campbell,
well.
yes, yeah. And then that was August. So going into September, we had...
Can I just say that, Chris?
Yeah.
When Martin Allen resigned, everyone thought, this is ridiculous because he'd painted all the training ground flowers blue and everything else and seemed to be...
I think he planted them blue. I don't think he painted them.
Whatever, it's a bit bizarre. But and then you realise, I didn't know anything about the Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank thing at the time. And then it was another issue that he was told to bid for Celtic striker who hadn't played many games. And Derek Rainsford, does that ring a bell? I think played for Celtic, but he refused to bid for him. So he said, no, I don't want him playing for me. And Mandaric seemed to be running the club as far as the football side was concerned. And you have to ask why.
The rumours were, obviously, you're quite right about the blue and white flowers, which seemed that I get why he was doing it because it was colours, but it was not the top of the priorities. But yes, he walked in to the stadium one day and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was sat in reception. Yeah. He said, oh, hello, what are you doing there? He said, I've come to sign for the club. And the thing I always say this, my Martin Allen story is I've people get this persona of managers and what they're like, etc. And that game there, when Mandrich signed my shirt, it was an away League Cup game against Accrington Stanley.
Hey, 1-0.
Yeah, so Accrington knew,
I
but
know.
I lived in Burnley at the time, so obviously it was literally 10 minutes down the road. So we got tickets and we had to pick them up off the coach, and that's when we saw him when he signed it. And I've got to say, Milan Mandrich, lovely guy, had time for everybody, like top. And we stood there because it was all open air, and we looked at the team that he'd picked when it was announced, and it was a weird choice. And he wasn't taking practice. He used to stand away from it and watch his coaches do it and assess, how good everybody was. And my son at the time, he's still my son.
Good to know.
My son, who was younger at the time, obviously said, "Dad, why are they playing this particular formation?" And I went, "I have no idea." And I looked up and I could see him just stood outside the clubhouse or whatever, watching them play. I said, "Look, Martin Allen's there, go and ask him." He said, "I can't do that." I said, "Yeah, you can." "What's the worst?" I said, "All he can do is tell you to get lost." Do you know what I mean? And he went, "Yeah, go on." I was chuckling to myself because I thought he's going to get a flea in his ear now and get sent away. And he went over and Martin Allen spent the next 10 minutes explaining all his tactics to my son.
Really? Wow.
And my son, it made his night. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, it's moments like that when you have to take away whether you like them as a manager or not, but take them as their personality.
Yeah. Well, Ian Holloway was like that.
Yes.
I may have told you when my oldest wasn't well, we got box to QPR Forest because she's at a London hospital, and no QPR Villa, and afterwards Ian Holloway and a couple of players came into the box, and he was talking to me. He said that second half weren't so bad, but what do you think? Was the Villa goal? Emil Heskey was playing for Villa at the time.
Oh, right.
That's when it was, and he said, "Do you reckon it was offside?" I said, "Actually, did look at it." He said, "Oh, okay. I couldn't see it from where I was." Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was 14th of August, Accrington Stanley away. We won 1-0 with a goal from Wesolowski in front of an amazing crowd of 2,021. Yeah. But no, it made my son's night, and I've admired Martin Allen ever since then.
I think we've got to accept that, we see these people in a different light because of what they do for a living.
Yes.
They're not bad people. We're not saying that. We've never said Brendan Rodgers is a bad person. What we've said is he's not good enough for our club anymore.
As a manager.
Yeah. I mean, as a person, he's done nothing wrong at all. It's as a manager, he's done everything wrong in the last season. Season.
In September, we didn't get a win at all. We got 4 draws and a loss to Charlton, but we got draws with Plymouth, QPR, Stoke, and Wolves. QPR at the time, I think, was it Plymouth or QPR? I think it was at QPR, Ian Holloway. And then, because of course the rumours came out about him wanting to come to Leicester, and he was put on gardening leave. I think. Anyway. But into October, started off with yet another draw. We then beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. Macaulay and Sodji got an own goal.
Yeah, their place, wasn't it? That's what makes it even more weird. The last game.
Yeah, now that one was at theirs. An away draw at Scunthorpe. We lost at home to Sheffield United, and then we beat Barnsley. John and Kisnorbo, it says here, scored the goals.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad a November. Let me just bring this up.
The problem is we had too many draws from memory. I mean,
you can look there. Yeah, I mean the draws are all in yellow. You can see how many draws we get in there. I mean November, another 2 draws. In fact, out of the games we had 3 draws, 1 win, 1 loss. We managed to beat Bristol City. with Stearman and Fryatt getting the goals. Who's this John that's scoring these goals? I know John
Elton?
Collins.
Oh, Collins John, he played for Fulham as well. Do you
Yeah,
remember him?
he wasn't on the list, was he? Did we?
I can't remember you
find
saying,
out?
but
No.
he came to us from Fulham. I'm sure he was a pretty decent player for them, but he never really got it going for us.
No. Then we got into the December period, which started off with a loss. That would come back and bite us, wouldn't it? We managed to draw with Burnley. It was an awful December. Lost to West Brom, lost to Ipswich, lost to Hull. We got a draw with Wolves and we beat Ipswich. Stearman again getting a goal. But can you see there, Hume scored? Well,
I'm
King
just
got a
saying,
goal
I
there.
can't see that, Chris. Sorry, but I
I know.
remember Humey going on a run, although
Yeah.
albeit one goalish at a time. I don't think we scored more than 1 or 2 goals in most games. But Fryatt wasn't playing then, I don't think.
Well, in December, 2 draws, 1 win. Sorry, 2 wins and 3 losses. Clement's got a goal, Kisnorbo, Stearman, and Andy King. But Hume got 1, 2, 3. He got 4 goals in 5 games.
Yeah.
For
and
us.
then Steve Howard came in, and I think I don't know what formation they played. They must put Hume back into midfield or on the wing because Barry Hales was playing then with Steve Howard. And you know what? We were so excited. I was anyway. Barry Hales coming to play for us because he was a quality player. Dutch, you think? Okay. So it was quite exciting. We had some strikers who should.
Well,
have been able
the
to put
goals
ball
were
away.
spread around, it has to be said. We started in January, we lost again. We only had 1 win in January. No, we didn't. So we had 2 wins in January, 1 draw, 1 loss.
One was Cobbo.
Hales got 2 goals, Howard got 1, and Hume got 1. February was a disaster. We got 1 win against Norwich, but it was 4-0 with Hume, Howard, Campbell, and Clements all scoring. But then we had 4 losses, including 1 at Coventry away.
Oh, was that one? That was dreadful. I hate it. I lost the car as well. We couldn't
You
find
lost
the
the
car.
car?
We couldn't find it on the way back. It's parked in some poxy side street, and it took us about an hour to find the bloody thing. So I was really happy driving home from there.
Did you not think of sort of making a note of the street that you were parked on?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But,
Yeah, you would. You would. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
That
have
would
been
like
known.
sensible.
Of course, back in the days, you didn't have mobile phones, but I have been known to take pictures of the road signs.
I said to my daughter, I said, "Don't worry, I was born in Warwickshire. I was born just down the road from here. I know where we are. Don't worry about it." Yeah, right.
Famous last words.
She didn't I was all the way home down the motorway. You said you knew where you were.
Is she still dropping her phone on the floor, by the way?
Yeah, bollocks.
Yeah. You knew that was going to get left in. Blackpool, Plymouth, and Argyle started February off with 3 losses. Actually, had that 4-0 against Norwich, and then we lost, as I say, to that Coventry game. March was a bit of a mixed month, really. Win, loss, draw, lost, win, lost, win. So it really was a busy March and a bit of a mixed March. And then
West Brom
April,
a bit of a tonking. I thought everything was going to be fine when we beat West Brom. I'm sure it was West Brom.
4-1. Howard got 3 goals and a penalty, so he got his hat trick. And Macaulay scored a goal.
Yeah, corner, I think. I can't remember. I'm just making it up now.
You're just trying to sound knowledgeable, aren't you?
I have no idea what happened. What year is that?
Yeah. And then April, and obviously the first 1 game we had in May, we lost to Sheffield United. We drew with Colchester. We beat Barnsley. Hume again getting 3 in 3 here. We lost, like you said before, to Sheffield Wednesday. And that Stoke game, away at Stoke, 26,609. We needed, I think we needed a win, didn't we? Obviously, because the draw wasn't good enough. And I don't think I think if we had about 10 strikers on, I don't think
The only thing that happened was Macaulay at the bar, I think, or the post, and I don't think anything else happened in the game.
It was
passionless, really. I thought.
no.
Mind you, Stoke, to be fair, needed a point to go up.
They did, and they actually went up. I can't think who was their manager at the time.
Pulis, maybe.
Could
have been Pulis. I tell you. Also, I remember the crowds weren't great. I think some of the biggest crowds were weird games. I remember Cardiff brought a lot of people over with them. But Sheffield Wednesday, I think we got 30,000 there. And you thought, this is it, this is the game. And it was such a letdown that we didn't perform. We just didn't perform. But it did turn on a penalty, because then you could see the players drop, as if to say, well, if Hume's missing a penalty like that, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. C96 just confirmed, literally just at the same time as I brought it up, Tony Pulis, who is the only, he was the first manager to reach the FA Cup final with Stoke, and I presume they lost on that. But yeah, it was Tony Pulis, of course, famous for when he was being West Brom manager, saying that he hoped Leicester City went on and won the league in 15-16. I mean, when it came to that last game, it literally... And I wanted to do this show because it is so much like this season, isn't it? Because I feel going into that, we could go down to that West Ham game. And if it does, we can't, if we lose that or we go down on that one game, it won't be a case of, well, that's what's cost us.
No. I don't almost hope it goes to that, because if it does, that means we're doing all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I can't see us winning another game.
I was watching Sky at some point, and the guy that, or was it? I don't know. Oh, sorry. I was watching a video of Talk Sport, because obviously they have the videos on YouTube, and the guy there was saying that he thought we could get 3 points against Liverpool.
Well, it wouldn't be surprising, would it? I mean, Leicester do stupid things like that.
That would be Leicester, yes.
Vardy gets a hat trick, and we get 3 points.
Yeah.
Liverpool are unpredictable, aren't they? When you think about it,
they are. I mean, they made hard work of beating Nottingham Forest, but but it has an inevitability. And I think that season, I remember, and the picture you got there was the crowds or Leicester fans in the stadium at Stoke after the game. One of them, isn't it? No, it looks like him. One of them is ringing the Samaritans, and the other one's just holding his head up because I think he'd drop it if he moved his hands. But I remember losing it, and I remember going down, and I remember just being numb.
Yeah.
I don't remember particularly. I mean, I know Dan sort of when Burnley went down was in tears, and I don't think. I mean, obviously it's. Oh no, because we had the Premier League back then, didn't we? So I just don't. Whether it's my age, and I've got to admit, there was a gentleman on earlier on another show, and he sort of only sort of followed us sort of in the last sort of 15 odd years, but not because he was a glory hunter, but because he was only that sort of age, if you like. So you have to allow that. And I think it would hurt him more because he doesn't remember the times before. And it's the same, and I know we criticise Man United fans, and I criticise Man United fans, and I know Mike's in as a United fan as well as Newport. But there's so many of them that don't remember pre-Fergie.
Well, someone don't remember pre-Premier League, do they?
Well, in fairness, probably not. And you've got to say, you've got to say they therefore have only ever known success. And when you think of it like that, and it really hit me when that guy said, "But I've never known." Because I was talking about, well, back in the day, we went down to League One. He went, I don't, but I wasn't here, and I'm like,
Jesus. It's like Monty Python, Chris, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that?
When I was a lad, lived in a box on motorway.
They won't believe us.
No, eating gravel.
It's a bit of a problem, though, because you got us old farts talking about, and I chatted to a couple of guys on Facebook on your site and spoken to them, and they get it because they've been there like I have. But the youngsters say, you can't go on like that because we're not that team anymore. And they're right. So it's unfair for us to say, well, just because we suffered the shit, why should they have to? But do you think we're a bit complacent because we're saying, well, we've had 7 good years or whatever, we should be grateful. We've not. It's like, was it Joseph Dreamcoat? 7 years of bumper crops are on the way. I'm not going to sing, by the way.
Any dream will do.
Well, so you've had your 7 good years, and you've not prepared for your 7 bad years, and that's what Leicester have done. We've not. We knew these. We should have known these things were going to happen. We should have known Vardy's going to get too old. We should have known people are out of contracts. That is inexcusable, allowing so many players to get out of contract around the same time. Even though they're going to leave anyway, but at least let's get some money for them. Yeah. And I know your argument's always been with Tielemans that I thought if we stayed up, he might surprise us and sign a new contract, but clearly not. Now we're going down.
No,
and I know, well, we're not down yet, but come on.
Yeah, I think we are down. I live in hope, as but it's the hope that kills us, isn't it? But you got to say, don't forget, we are not just Leicester City.
Elite.
Yes, just ask Gurinder. Just ask Gurinder. Look. Okay. You got to go and watch that, please.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry.
And if anybody wonders what the hell I am talking about, just go and check this out on the YouTube channel, Life of Gurinder. You can either watch the full show and you can hear Simon Jordan on Maddison and Simon Jordan on, and I thank TalkSport for actually sending me the clips so that I could download them without having the YouTube links on. And but Gurinder's, there's a short one under the fun section. It's a laugh. It is just a laugh. It really is. Me and Brad couldn't control ourselves, I tell you. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how I'll feel if we go down.
No, I don't, because we have had it good and we've done well. It's been brilliant being a Leicester. It's always brilliant being a Leicester fan, but it's been even better since the title. And even the year after the title, I never thought we'd go down. Although, everyone was saying, well, it could be the first team since Man City to get relegated after winning the league. But then it was different. We had, we'd sold one player. I don't think Drinkwater had gone with then, had he? But, we sold Kante to Chelsea and that was it. We still had a quality squad. This time, I actually can't see us. I mean, it's ironic. We've gone from a team who could score goals but let them in to actually showing up the back four, and now we've gone the other way again. I mean, it's something seriously tactically wrong with our.
I have done shows where, and I'm sorry, the blame. Rodgers has to take, obviously, the majority of the blame, and I think he has literally drained the life out of some of these players. But Top has to take his share as well. And, we accept that, we probably wouldn't be in this position maybe if it hadn't been for COVID. But look,
World Cup.
It is what it is. Maybe with the World Cup, if we hadn't had that break, maybe Top would have come to his senses earlier. But John Rudkin, Susan Whelan, they're the ones that have really let it happen. But then Top should have been literally, no joke intended, on top of them. But as Mike said here, sorry,
it's a fact to follow, wasn't it, Chris? To be fair, I mean, his dad, I think, would have said to Brendan, "Thanks for what you've done. It's been brilliant, but I've got to think of the club." And Brendan Rodgers would have probably gone at Christmas. Rodgers would have gone, I think, but he got them lucky result. Well, lucky. He got the Forest result plus one or two others, and that helped him. Wolves away.
Just before the break for the World Cup.
So that saved him. I think we were all thinking at the time, he's got to go.
I mean, Mike makes a very good point here. When Newport nearly got relegated in 16-17, I was in tears, and people were like they were when we nearly died completely as a club. We've been there twice. Funnily enough, last time we were talking about last time we actually had built the new stadium, and we got relegated. This time we've only been talking about it. We're going to get relegated, but we have been out of business, saved by the skin of our teeth, and an ex-striker or two. And then the next time saved by the aforementioned Milan Mandrić, because I don't think if we'd gone that time, I don't think if Milan had come in, and we've got to thank Alan Birchnell for that, because he'd sold Portsmouth and he actually wanted a break.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't want to buy a club straight away, but Alan Birchnell knew him from America days, and
That was true. Do you remember that time as well? Neil Warnock. That's why nobody wanted him as manager. He was blasting for us to get points deductions.
Yes.
And we won the league, and he was saying, it should be a 15-point deduction for going insolvent or for going into liquidation. And he's probably not wrong.
The following season,
they
brought it in, and quite right. He was only speaking. Had it been any other club, we'd have been sat there going, he's speaking sense. But we've got. I look at Bury. And I worked in Bury for a couple of years when I was up in the northwest, and I can remember what that club meant to people there. And they're slowly, I think they're back in Gig Lane now. I think I read some good news about that. But you look at these clubs and you think, they are the lifeblood, and it's not like we've got 2 or 3 professional clubs, and you can't. I always joke, 3 things you love in your life: your partner, your kids, and your football club. Your partner,
sorry, in that order. Yeah.
No, exactly. But your partner, you can go and get a new one. Let's be honest with you. The kids will move up and leave home and possibly even leave the country. But you can't stop loving the club. You
can fall out with it for a while. I mean, I think I had my years in the 80s where I wasn't as dedicated as I should have been.
No.
But generally speaking, of course, that you're with it for life, aren't you?
Yes, yes, you are.
And I think even the youngsters coming through now are. I think we've got to understand life is different. They have different ways of showing it. I noticed against Fulham again, it was the same guys that I've seen when we've gone to away games, giving it all. But that's the only way they can express themselves. They've spent fortunes travelling around the country all season.
Yes.
The only way looking back to Brighton away, that was horrendous. It was just horrendous. Bad management again.
And I look at, and I've said this so many times, really. If I'd got £1 for every time I said this, I would have, been retired earlier than I am. But when you look at that Great Escape season, one thing that as I say, it was a 3.5-hour journey there, 3.5 journey back. You got the cost of the season ticket, and you got the petrol and food and what have you. It was not cheap.
No.
And the number of times that me and my son drove back in silence, just listening to whatever the late kickoff game was. And one thing we never ever did, we criticised the manager because I thought that goes with the territory, doesn't it? But one thing we never ever did was criticise the players, because not once did they ever not turn up. They fought that season. We were only losing 2-1 or 1-0 or 3. It was none of these things lose.
Yeah, you could see that turning round, couldn't you? Although, I remember it vividly. I remember the games it started to turn. West Brom, wasn't it, away?
Yeah.
Was it the Vardy goal and things? And
Andy King started it, didn't he?
Well, yeah.
West Ham, I think, yeah.
But you could see it happening. But I've had 2 occasions, 2 separate, where I thought, right, this is it now, we're back. And then it all goes wrong again. Well, why? That's what the question has to be. Well, how can you beat Forest 4-1? How can you win at Wolves 4-0? How can you beat Spurs 4-1? And then go so bad after that? There must be an attitude with the players. I think the players are to blame this time. I think there's too many. We've had players come in and be brilliant for us. Yeah, this is it. Solved our defensive issues. Now they look as if they've been internationals for 10 years and they're trying to stroke it around and play smart football. When Faye's come in, he'd tackle, he'd get the ball away. Now he's trying to play with it.
But
So,
again, is that not
yeah.
down to the manager that brought him in?
Well, I think it's down to the manager that's managing him. I mean, surely John Terry said, "Look, don't fuck about. Get rid of it, mate. We don't want us messing about in our own box. We're struggling as it is." And what is it? 2 or 3 mistakes on Monday, bad mistakes. And Sumare, somebody said to me, "Oh, he's turned the corner now," and he's terrible. 30 million we paid.
Do you think, in fairness, that when Dean Smith came in, and we know it was very late for him to come in, etc. Not as late as obviously Big Sam at Leeds, but do you think that we've almost got like false hope because we beat Wolves, we drew with Leeds, and we drew with Everton?
We dropped 4 points.
Yeah, but we've got 7 points from a possible 9. Is that right?
No, we got
5 points.
5 from 9.
Nine.
Should have been 9.
Would we have got those 5 points under Rodgers?
Who knows, mate? I don't think so, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I went from when we did this first prediction show. Was it who's going to stay up and go down? I know we got Leicester in into Europe, but that was just silly. But we could see games where we could win, and as it went on, I was starting to look at it again and thinking, I can't see any games we can win here, especially when Everton brought Dyche in. I mean, that changed their mentality, not 100%, but it changed it. If Allardyce does that for Leeds, they're on staying up. West Ham are clear anyway. So this leaves, I don't know, Southampton and us. And anybody else that wants it.
I mean, having said that, it's taken Allardyce a while to turn it round. And the problem that was annoying... the thing that was annoying me is the fact that, and I've forgotten what I was going to say because I'm trying to do 2 things at once. I know it's completely gone. It's completely gone. Moving on, we actually did that last night on myself. We did a sort of a review show of not of the match because we'd spoken enough about the match. But we actually sort of talked generally. And the Mercury had got another one of or the Leicestershire Live, the online version, had another one of those who's going up, who's going down predictions. So Brad, and I did have to rein him in because otherwise he would have ended us up in Europe again. But that was how it ended up with him. He had us in 17th, staying up by a point. And I had to sort of override some of his decisions when he said, "Oh, they'll because he was a team, he was doing a Steve Lynex, But I mean, I'll take that. Don't get me wrong. I will take that.
I think that's very optimistic.
It is. It is. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that it will end up like that. I have to say I've got us going down, but let me ask you this, and then we'll sort of kind of round it up. We'll round it up. Do we need to go down? And I say this about other teams like Everton. Everton need to go down because I know when we went down to League One, we got rid of the Deadwood. We got, Pearson came in. He looked and he says, right, I'm going to loan players because I don't intend being in this division that long. And he loaned us a set of players that he bought a couple of, obviously, but he loaned a lot of players that he thought could get us out of that division. And then he kept some of them when we got promoted, but he got rid of others that did what they did, which was to get us out of the division. But it was almost like taking a step back to take 2 or 3 forward. And I've said that about Everton this season. But do you think that could apply to Leicester this season?
Well, I get your point, but I just fear how long it'll take us to get back again. I mean, once we've been relegated, how long we've been stuck in the Championship over the years. And I think there's 2 issues. One, if we stay up, okay, we'll get rid of the Deadwood that doesn't want to play for us anymore. But we'll probably attract players. We've got younger players coming through. Now, you could argue they'd be better off in the Championship. I'm not so sure. that's a tough league. That is. I think it's better for them to start coming through into the Premier League. We need possibly a new manager if we go down. Who's going to bring us back up? If we stay up, would we give Smith the job permanently in his team? If we stay up, you'd probably say, well, they deserve a go at it. So going down is never a good thing. Certainly not for a club.
C96 said exactly the same there. He said, like, going down is never good. If we go down, we are not going to do a Burnley.
No.
We're not going to have that sort of return. We're not going to do what we did when we went down to League One, which was basically we came back up, like you say, with 100 odd points, and I think we only lost about 5 games all season.
And will we build the new stadium? We will stick 10,000 seats on it if we go down.
We won't. That money can at least go to buy some players, possibly.
But that's such a vital part of the fair thing that it's vital we build it, and the complex. Everton, they're going ahead with their stadium, whatever, I think, aren't they? So and I think that comes out of the king power, not out of the football club so much.
No,
I think if we stop that would worry me, because not only are we getting relegated, we're stopping the development of the club, and we'll end up back in the same position should we ever get promoted again. Yeah. Should we ever? And that's a big time, mate. We've been in that championship a long time over the last 25 years.
Yes. I'm just looking now.
Since Martin O'Neill left us in 2001 or 2000, something like that. That's 23 years, and we've probably been in the Premier League about 5 or 6 of those years, or maybe 7. So it's a long time down there.
Yeah, we actually, when we went down, we came back up as champions. 96 points we had. Yeah. We had a plus 45 goal difference. We scored 84 goals. We lost 4 games all season, let's say. So that isn't going to happen.
We haven't got Jamie Vardy anymore.
Well, we've got another season left, so who knows? Maybe. And as everybody's saying there, 96 and Mike are both saying, the championship is tough. Norwich, they went down, they haven't come back up. Watford aren't coming back up, and for a few seasons, maybe the quality's better down there now than it was.
And also, you've got teams like Sheffield Wednesday going into it. I think Plymouth are going to be a knockover for any team, especially at their place.
No, so I think it is going to be a tough one. But I think if we stay up, and this was the kind of the point I wanted to make, is if we stay up, are we going to just be papering over the cracks? Like that season, 2007-8, had we stayed up, and I'm not saying that keeping Holloway would have been a bad thing, because look at what he did at Blackpool. But when you look at the state that club was in, let's just bring it back up again. Look at the state we were in, and I will add it to the stream. There we go. Let me do it so that you can see it all. That one. You look. Oops. Yeah, you look at that now. That is Watford. We look at how many managers we've had. All right, there was actually only 4 sets of managers, but there was 5, wasn't it? It was Allen, then the next 2. That was 2. Then Megson, then the next 2, then Holloway. So that was 5 sets of managers in one season.
Oh, it was Mandarich. Mandarich was like sacked mad.
Yeah, he was. He was. There wasn't one season there after we got relegated, or even a season we got relegated, where we only had the one manager in a season. Now, okay, you can say that he picked wrong managers. I think Allen would have been the right manager, but he fell out. And quite rightly, Mandarich was very much like a Bowie, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was. If he'd let Allen get on with it, we'd have been all right.
Yeah,
we were playing decent football.
But he that didn't happen, and I just think had we stayed up that season, we would well still have possibly gone down the following season.
What do you think would have? What do you think would have happened though if we'd have gone down pre-title season? I know we had a better team then, but can you imagine we'd have missed out on that? Just we were at bottom at Christmas, weren't we?
Yes, yeah, we went bottom at Christmas to top at the following Christmas.
Yeah.
And of course, the thing we've got to look and say, look, I'm not going to go into here and say that we're elite and that we've created history. Yes, we have created history, etc., etc. But that was then, and this is football. You've got take. Let me just. I'm going to bring the Premier League table up here, just quickly, Dave. Let me just bring the table up. Because once you get past the clubs so Manchester City, they have been down where we were in League One. Okay, they won't now because of the money. Arsenal, they've kind of always been down. Newcastle have been down there as well, but they won't now because of the money. Look, when you get past Tottenham, right, that's the top six at the moment. So the top six at the moment are Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur. Let's put Chelsea into that bracket as well, despite the fact that they're down in the 11th, because any one of those teams will buy themselves out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, so Brighton, Villa, Fulham, Palace, Wolves, Bournemouth, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leicester, Leeds, Southampton. All of those clubs have been out of the Premier League in recent history.
Except for Everton.
Well, except for Everton. Sorry.
Is it Everton and Arsenal, the only two sides never to have been relegated? Yeah.
Yes. But, sorry, take Everton out. But all those other clubs at some point in recent history have been down.
Yeah.
In there. So we have to accept that we have had the most amazing last 10 years.
Yeah. I just think this was avoidable. That's the annoying thing.
Well, it's always is avoidable
from the first match.
Yeah, but I think we could sit here and we could all pour baked beans in our eyes, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And of course, if they did that, we'd all have hindsight.
As long as,
Oh, you nearly missed that there.
Is that the time?
You've missed me. Be honest. But yeah, so let's say we've enjoyed it, and I know what Gorinda was trying to say, but we're not Manchester City, we're not Newcastle, we're not.
No.
We tried to stay up and we tried to be part of that, just as Leeds did all those years ago. At least we're not going bust. We know players will leave, but that's because they want to. We don't have to have a fire sale like Leeds did. So we're going to have a club next season. Again, unlike Derby, we're not on a points deduction. We've not gone bust. We're not like Coventry and having to borrow somebody else's ground. We're still here, and we will be back, as they say. It might take a while, but I think we will be back. Dave, it's been a pleasure having you back, sir.
Yeah, cheers, pal. Good to see you.
I've got to leave you. You know what's coming. I can't
believe
you
that.
with that.
I cannot believe that.
If only Leicestershire, whatever she's called, was in. Who loves Iggy Piggy? I can't believe that. Iggy Piggy, Iggle, whatever he's called, Iggle Piggle. I could not. I was literally. I was crying when I saw that come up.
I haven't seen him since the Fulham result. God knows where he's gone. He's hanging from the tree outside.
You put him on a bonfire and burned him. But
he'll be back.
He will be back. But like Arnie and us.
Cheers, as will we. Take care. Yeah, see you guys.
Just tell everybody where they can find you, because you do have your own show now. You're back. You'll be doing the prog rock show again.
Yeah. First Saturday in the month, surrealsradio.co.uk. I actually do a 1 hour's show on a Friday, but it's more for local stuff in Surrey and Sussex. So it's called Something for the Weekend, sir. And
Yes.
2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
Not even after the watershed.
And if we stay up, I'll be playing When You're Smiling for the whole hour.
Oh, come play something cheerful. That is such an urge, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It makes me cry, though.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Take care, pal. See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So thanks very much to Dave there. Nice to have him back from Australia, with or without Eagle Pickle. I still can't believe that. Please do get over to the LTID website and check out these previous shows, because to be honest with you, they are really, really funny. We are so unprofessional, Brad and me. Life of Gurinder. Do check that one out, and also check out Not Fit to Wear the Shirt, the highest rating or the highest watched of all of my rant shows. Coming up tomorrow, we've got the preview at 8 o'clock, or 8 o'clock or 9, I'm not 100% sure yet. Preview of the Liverpool game. I really don't want to do it because I just absolutely think we're going to get tanked, but I think the 9-0 could be in danger. And then back on Friday with the prediction show. It'd be nice to be back for that. And just to let you know, next season it's all going to be changed. We're going to be bringing a separate show out soon that will go through all the changes. We've introduced 1 or 2 already. I won't be able to use this background next season because I won't be able to use the Premier League trophy as a background. Won't be allowed to, won't want to. But one of the changes is the Xbox Prediction League. We're still going to have, hopefully, Steve Lynex, Jerry Taggart, Ian Marshall, Ian Wilson and Steve Walsh in. But we'll be adding to that Paul Reed, Richard Smith, Julian Watts, ex-players, but also Pontus Kamark and Julian Joachim as well. And it will be a pleasure to have them on board. I'm going to go now, but I want to thank Dave for coming in, and it's nice, like I say, to have him back. Two old men chewing the cud and sharing the memories. We were there when we played Yeovil on a wet Tuesday. Yes, we were. Thank you to everybody that was in the chat. Much too many, but thank you for joining in and adding your thoughts and contributions. To all the podcast listeners, thank you for listening. You can have your ears back now, and just clean them out next time, will you? And, don't forget, please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smash the likes of the video because it really, really does help. Click that notification bell and you will never miss another show again. And why not join? $1.99 a month. Become a member. When we get the member numbers up, we will be doing shows just for members. So we do need to get the numbers up. It's only $1.99 a month. Keeps the channel going. And I will see you tomorrow night for the Liverpool game, Liverpool preview. This has been LTID TV. I've been Chris. Here's Arnie. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.